What's up YouTube, it's Scott here today and welcome to FudgeMuppet. Welcome to this week's Skyrim build, and today we're also answering the calls for those begging for a Nightblade. Of course, as you'll see, the build isn't a traditional Nightblade, it's a Ghostblade. But that's what we do here at FudgeMuppet. We change stuff around, so hopefully you will like the twist we've put on what could be a very plain build. Remember, if this build gets 1,000 likes in 2 days, we'll make a guide on how to make the face. This is also for everyone asking for a Dark Brotherhood themed build, which we haven't done in a long while. And of course, for all our lovely subscribers watching anyway, sit back, relax, but also brace yourself, for this is a pretty dark backstory, but also a very fun build to play. Okay, so the Ghostblade is a Khajiit, and starts off our story as a 6-year-old son to a single father. The father was a trader working in Cyrodiil wherever he could find work. He would pick up contracts to repair things, trade things, and just do general labourer jobs as he travelled the lands. It was a shadowy dusk when the father and son were a few miles out from Breville, and the weather had gradually shifted to heavy torrential rain. The drops would pound with immense force and great density until it became unbearable, especially for the young child. Eventually, the father carried the child into a nearby cave to protect the two of them from the rain, and after setting up camp inside, the father could detect that this cave just wasn't the right place. Unsettling vibes drifted around the cavern, and the hissing sound of wind could be heard where none should exist. As wary as the father was, he could not see any danger, and he was not one for superstition. Logically, he knew he could not continue with his son during this harsh weather, and so he decided it was time for them to sleep. Deep in his sleep, the son began to hear voices and quietly convulse in his makeshift bed. He began to get caught up in the most lucid dreams, and the sound of hissing filled his ears and soared through his veins. He dreamed of fighting off hordes of skeevers with his utility knife, and he pinned one down and raised his dagger to end its life. Suddenly, the child's dream turned into a nightmare, and the skeever began to shapeshift and mold its image into his father's. The child wished to stop, but before he knew it, he had hammered the blade into his dad's heart. Waking from his nightmare, there he knelt, above his beloved father, blood running, spilling down his body onto the rocks the target lay on. The child screamed and crawled backwards, hauling himself to his feet to find the first aid kit. His father, however, let out one last moan and became still. The young Khajiit stood immobilized as an ethereal figure walked out from his body, towering above him. It had possessed his body and was some sort of ancient, spectral Dark Brotherhood assassin. The child, still confused with what was going on, began to cry. However, the ghost talked to him in a soothing and manipulative voice. "This is the way of Sithis," he echoed. "This is the art of murder your mother wanted you to learn." The child ran deep into the caverns, but the ghost merely followed and continued to sway the child's mindset. He told the child that his mother wants what's best for him, and that his father was nothing more than a step on the path to greatness. Our mother, the Night Mother, is our unholy matron, our protector, our salvation. Welcome to your true family. The ghost trapped the child in the cave and continued to brainwash him regarding the Night Mother's plan for him. In light of his father's death, the child took comfort in these words and gave in to the Brotherhood's teachings, and the spectral assassin, for 15 years, raised him to kill, harness devious magic, and become one with the shadows. The Night Mother wants you to go to Skyrim and restore the true Dark Brotherhood to its former greatness. Venture to Windhelm. These were the last words the Ghostblade heard as he left the caverns after many years living inside the caves and hunting the lands of Breville. On his way to Skyrim, he would be caught in a conflict on the border and taken to Helgen. After escaping Helgen, the Ghostblade will be disoriented and have no gear. The Ghostblade also likes exploring caverns due to his upbringing. He actually feels safe deep in caves and now loves exploring tombs and interacting with ghosts and spirits. The character is going to head to Anselvund, north of Riften, to acquire the Ghostblade. This will be his mystical sword to remind him of his skewed upbringing, and will be used to perform the art of killing as he ventures to Windhelm. Along the way, it is handy to level up illusion using the muffle spell when not in battle. After he arrives in Windhelm, the Ghostblade will hear of Aventus Arantino performing the Black Sacrament. Being aware of the Dark Brotherhood's methods, the Ghostblade will seek him out and complete his contract. When Astrid kidnaps him, he will impress her by killing all 3 suspects. However, he isn't too fond of Astrid. he doesn't consider her true to the Dark Brotherhood's culture, and he will actually like Cicero a lot more. Cicero can be used as a companion, so obviously don't kill him. We found that within the Dark Brotherhood, every character had a unique theme. You had an Argonian shadow scale, the werewolf, the wizard who claimed to turn people inside out, and so on. Because of this, we designed the Ghostblade to be a character that would fit in perfectly even as a Dark Brotherhood NPC. The Ghostblade is a Khajiit, which the Dark Brotherhood didn't have, and has the whole concept of being a ghost in battle, making him unique. You'll see what I mean when I discuss the playstyle. The skills for the Ghostblade are one-handed for the blade, sneak to remain unseen, illusion to manipulate the emotions of his foes and to become invisible, smithing to upgrade the sword but you only need 2 perks, and finally enchanting to not only enchant a ring and necklace with Fortify one-handed and illusion, but also to enchant a full set of random armor with Fortify smithing to be wearing while upgrading your sword. This is basically because the base level damage of the sword is pretty low. All the perks you will need can be found in the description as always, so be sure to check it out. Now the playstyle relies heavily on invisibility and the Shadow Warrior perk. The concept revolves around vanishing and then striking during battle to get sneak bonus kills and to be like the ghost that no one can see. Basically your enemies should just see a ghostly sword twirling through the air and striking fear into their hearts. He should hide in the shadows after each kill and cast frenzy spells to make enemies turn on each other. His foes will be extremely scared of him as he continually comes out of nowhere with an ethereal blade and picks them off. The ice form shouts adds to the creepy ghostly vibes and is helpful to trap groups of enemies as you pick others off. The Ghostblade comes and goes like the wind, and will also use the Become Ethereal shout when in danger to damage enemy morale, making him think that he is truly a ghost and invincible. His health in reality, however, is very low, so you're going to need to be precise in your killing methods. Basically, an endgame character should have 200 stamina, 200 health, and the rest in magicka for constant invisibility and frenzy casting. The armor for the Ghostblade is ancient Dark Brotherhood shrouded armor, and boots, and gauntlets. And as you can see, we have a piece of black cloth on ours due to the mod, but however this doesn't really change anything, it's the same armor. If you're playing vanilla, don't worry. For a standing stone, the Lord Stone is always a good choice, or the Lover Stone for leveling early on. And that sums up this week's build, the Ghostblade. A huge thank you to everyone who is currently watching, and to those who have tuned in to our new Fallout New Vegas build released yesterday. Speaking of new, the brand new Let's Play chapter of Skyrim is out, so even if you've never watched our Let's Play before, you can watch the recap and then start fresh on chapter 2. Remember the perk link is in the description. My name is Scott, please subscribe for more Skyrim and Fallout builds, and I'll see you next time.